Madam Nana sat in her luxurious bedroom, staring at the city skyline through her massive window. Her heart felt heavy despite the wealth surrounding her. Her only son, Ryan, has everything: money, power, and status, but he lacked one thing: true love. Every woman he dated only saw his wealth, not the man he was. Ryan entered the room, his face tense. "Mom, I know you are up to something. You have been acting strange lately." Madam Nana sighed. "Ryan, I can't sit back and watch you marry someone who doesn't love you. I have a plan." Ryan crossed his arm. "What plan?" She looked at him with determination. "I am going to disguise myself as a cleaner in a mansion. I want to find a woman who will treat me with kindness, not knowing who I really am. That woman will be your wife." Ryan's jaw clenched. "Mom, this is crazy. You don't have to do this." "I do," she said firmly. "You may not like it, but I have made my decision." Ryan sighed in frustration. He knew there was no stopping his mother when she had made up her mind. And just like that, Madam Nana's journey as a cleaner began. But little did she know, this plan will reveal more than just a good wife. It will expose the true color of those around her. Madam Nana arrived at the mansion early in the morning, dressed in an old uniform. The air smelled of fresh flowers and the mansion stood tall and beautiful. But to her, this was not a place of comfort. It was a test. The housemaid looked at her with disgust. "You are the new cleaner," she said. "Hurry up and start working. No time for standing around." Madam Nana nodded quietly and picked up a mop. As she cleaned the floor, she heard laughter from upstairs. Two young women were coming down, Mirabel and Grace. Mirabel walked confidently, wearing expensive clothes, while Jane followed behind in a simple dress. Mirabel wrinkled her nose when she saw Madam Nana. "Oh, why do we have such an old cleaner here? She looks so slow." Madam Nana lowered her eyes, pretending not to hear, but Grace frowned. "Mirabel, that's not nice." Mirabel rolled her eyes. "Whatever, let's go." She walked away, not caring about the cleaner she had just insulted. Madam Nana glanced at Grace. She had defended her, but was she truly kind? Only time would tell. Days passed as Mama Nana worked hard as a cleaner. She scrubbed the floor, washed dishes, and carried heavy buckets. But no matter how much she worked, people still looked down on her. One afternoon, she was carrying a tray of food to the kitchen when she bumped into Mirabel. The tray slipped off her hand and the food spilled on the floor. "You stupid woman," Mirabel screamed. "Do you know how much this food costs? You should be fired for doing this." Madam Nana bent down quickly, picking up the mess. "I am sorry, ma," she said softly. Grace, on hearing the noise, rushed in and saw what happened. She knelt down beside Madam Nana and helped her clean. "It was just an accident, Mirabel," she said. "You don't have to shout." Mirabel coughed. "That's why you always be a loser, Grace. You act like a maid." She turned and walked away, leaving Madam Nana and Grace to clean up. As Madam Nana wiped the floor, she smiled a little. Grace was different. Maybe her plan would work after all. One evening, Madam Nana was mopping the living room when Grace walked in with her friends. They laughed loudly, holding shopping bags filled with expensive clothes. Mirabel stopped and looked at Madam Nana. "You are still here, old woman? You clean so slowly." Her friend giggled. "Maybe she needs glasses to see the dirt," one of them said. Madam Nana kept quiet and continued mopping. She knew speaking up would only make things worse. Mirabel suddenly stepped into the bucket of water. "Are you stupid? You made my shoes wet," she screamed. "I'm sorry, ma'am," Madam Nana said, stepping back. Mirabel kicked the bucket, spilled dirty water all over Madam Nana's uniform. "Clean this mess right now," she ordered, then walked away, laughing with her friends. Madam Nana sighed as she cleaned the floor again. She had to endure this. She had to complete the mission. One afternoon, Madam Nana was in the kitchen washing plates when Mirabel stormed in. "You useless woman, my dress has a stain on it. Did you touch it?" she said, accusing her, throwing the dress at Madam Nana's face. Madam Nana flinched but remained calm. "I don't touch clothes, ma'am. Maybe it happened somewhere else." Mirabel scoffed. "Are you calling me a liar?" She grabbed a cup of juice from the table and poured it on Madam Nana's head. Just then, Grace walked in and gasped, "Mirabel, what are you doing?" "She ruined my dress," Mirabel snapped. Grace shook her head. "That's not true, and you know it. You are just being cruel." Mirabel rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, why do you always defend these low-class people?" "Because they are women too," Grace said firmly, handing Madam Nana a towel to clean her body. "You should be ashamed," Mirabel said. Mirabel coughed and walked away, but Madam Nana smiled softly at Grace. Maybe, just maybe, she had found the one worthy of her son. One evening, the mansion was filled with guests for a grand party. Madam Nana, as a cleaner, had to serve drinks and clean up. She moved carefully, trying to avoid trouble, but Mirabel always found a way to humiliate her. "Hey, old woman," Mirabel called loudly, making sure people heard. "You walk too slow. Are your bones too weak to walk?" Guests nearby chuckled, some whispering to each other. Madam Nana kept quiet and continued serving, but as she walked past Mirabel, the spoiled girl stuck out her foot. Madam Nana tripped and the tray of drinks clashed to the floor. The room went silent. "You are so useless," Mirabel yelled. "You can't even do a simple job right now." Before she could say more, Grace rushed in. "Mirabel, stop it. It was an accident." Mirabel folded her arms. "Then let her clean it. That's what she's here for." Grace sighed and knelt down beside Madam Nana, helping her pick up the broken glass. "You don't have to do this, Grace," Madam Nana whispered. "Yes, I do," Grace said, "because this isn't right." Madam Nana looked at Grace with deep respect. Her kindness was real, but was it enough? There was still more to see. The next morning, dark cloud covered the sky and rain threatened to fall. Madam Nana was outside, sweeping the front yard when Mirabel stormed in, holding a handbag. "Where's my driver?" she snapped. "I don't know, ma'am," Madam Nana said softly. Mirabel coughed, useless as always. She glanced at the sky. "Oh, I can't wait." I all walked to the gate myself. Just as he stepped outside, the sky opened and heavy rain poured down. Mirabel screamed, "No, my hair, my dress, I can't get wet." She spun around, eyes landing on Madam Nana. "You, come here." Madam Nana hesitated, but Mirabel grabbed her arm and pulled her close. "Cover me with your scarf." Madam Nana's scarf was old but thick. It was the only thing keeping her warm. Still, she obeyed and handed it over. Mirabel snatched it and wrapped it around herself, running toward the gate. The rain hit Madam Nana hard. Cold water soaked her clothes, but she remained standing, shivering. Just then, Grace appeared with an umbrella. "Oh no, you are freezing." She quickly removed her sweater and placed it over Madam Nana's shoulder. "Come inside, you all get sick." Madam Nana's lips trembled, but her heart warmed. You are too kind, Grace." Grace frowned. Why wouldn't I be? You deserve kindness. Madam Nana smiled through the cold. Grace has passed another test, but Mirabel, she was always failing, and one day she would regret it. One afternoon, Madam Nana was dusting the furniture in the grand living room when she heard loud footsteps. Grace stormed in, holding a cup of wine, trying to give it to Madam Nana. But instead of giving it to Madam Nana, Mirabel stormed in, her face red with anger. Where is my gold bracelet? I left it on the table, and now it's gone. Grace quickly went inside, trying to check if she could find it because she knew Madam Nana was innocent. Madam Nana looked up, confused. I don't know, ma'am. I haven't seen it. Mirabel's eyes darkened. Liar. You cleaners are all the same, always stealing from rich people. Before Madam Nana could explain, Mirabel raised her hand and slapped her hard across the face. The sound echoed through the room. A sharp gasp came from behind them. Mirabel, Grace shouted, rushing forward. What is wrong with you? She stole my bracelet, Mirabel yelled. Grace turned to Madam Nana, whose cheek was red and swollen. Are you okay? She asked, tears in her eyes. I didn't take anything, Madam Nana whispered, holding back her pain. Just then a maid ran into the room holding the missing bracelet. Miss Mirabel, I found this in your dressing room. You must have left it there. Silence filled the room. Mirabel's face burned with embarrassment, but instead of apologizing, she scoffed. Whatever. Then she turned and walked away. Grace looked at Madam Nana, her heart aching. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. Madam Nana touched her cheek, forcing a small smile. Don't cry, child. Some lessons must be learned the hard way. And deep inside, she knew one day Mirabel would regret this moment. It was a long and tiring day. Madam Nana had worked from morning till night, scrubbing floor, carrying heavy buckets, and washing dishes. By evening, her body ached and her stomach rumbled. She hadn't eaten anything since morning. She walked into the kitchen, hoping to get something to eat. But just as she reached for a piece of bread, Mirabel walked in with her arm crossed. What do you think you are doing? She asked coldly. Madam Nana lowered her hand. I was just trying to get a piece of bread to eat. I'm very hungry. Mirabel grabbed the bread and threw it into the trash. Maids eat leftover, not fresh food. You should know your place. Madam Nana's stomach twisted in hunger, but she said nothing. Grace suddenly entered the kitchen and saw what happened, her face filled with anger. Mirabel, that was unnecessary. She quickly took another piece of bread and gave it to Madam Nana. Eat, please, she said gently. Mirabel rolled her eyes. You act like a saint, but one day you all learn that kindness is useless. Grace glared at her sister. And one day you all learn that cruelty has consequences. Madam Nana took a small bite, her eyes shining with silent gratitude. Grace's kindness was real, but Mirabel's arrogancy was growing worse, and soon she will find the price of her action. So guys, I want you guys to drop down your opinion on this first episode. I'll be dropping the second episode by next week. Please kindly like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to get the next episode. Thank you.